watch Bourbon and Fry. If they like a bottle, they'll tell you why.
Hey everybody! Welcome to another episode of award-winning Trenny and Sea. We've got Trenny, we got Sea, and we've got Colin. He's given us this to try today, which is one of the. I think this is the one that you like. What do you call it?
I've had
fanboyed over it.
I'm a Jefferson's Ocean fanboy. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for referring to it that way.
Oh yeah, of course.
I've had moments with it. Let's just say.
We all have, and this is awkward because there's 3 award winners here, and then me. Anyway, let's trudge on through.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So,
What's been referred to as the final boss?
The final boss.
Yes, this is the final boss in the Jefferson's lineup, Ocean Aged, and I mean that in itself, Ocean Aged, is a story.
It's a freaking story.
We will tell you now.
Let's sum it up quickly.
Yeah.
So, but first, let's have a little smell, a little sip, right?
Okay.
Jefferson's,
one
thing you might say about them, like they're bonders, right? And so they've had these relationships since the 90s that they've built with whiskey producers. Like when bourbon's in this like super decline, they go around and they establish like, hey, can I buy some cool stuff from you? Maybe age a little bit longer, and then I want to make a blend of like all of you guys and make something that's like better than some of his parts, right? And so there's a person out there that might be like, I like Homestead, I like grown like from one distillery, like say Maker's Mark or something like that, right?
Yeah,
sure. Or Rabbit Hole. But what really what I love about this Jefferson's is like the innovation here. And so as the story goes, Trey is chilling down in the Caribbean. He's sitting on this boat.
As you do,
right? Like I'm always.
That sounds like a good time in itself.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there on this boat, and then the boat's moving in the ocean. He's watching the whiskey do this, right? He's like, whoa! Like, wouldn't that be cool? Because when I put my whiskey and I'm resting them, if you have them on their sides or straight up on a pallet, no matter what, they're stationary. And unless you're like in a heavy earthquake situation when they're constantly shuffling,
infrequent,
yeah, right. Put it on the golden circle or whatever. But so long story short, he tries this theory out, and you can go check out the website. There's an awesome story about it, but he decided that aging whiskey at sea was cool, and this is what he went with. And so Ocean is essentially that, and
it's just agitating the barrel like steadily, right?
And I mean, you talk in Scotland, especially like about the ocean influence and the sea salt and that kind of thing. So like probably being out on the ocean and those elements,
yes, different air,
right? Must have an influence, and then the rocking back and forth. Yeah. Unless he was just absolutely shit faced when he thought this, which is fine.
And can't both be true?
But
the main thing for me, what I picked out here, you see Voyage 28 on here. So you go to Jefferson's website, and you go to their Voyage series. You can actually look at the different voyages.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm starting to like
track where they are.
We'll track where they went.
Right.
Yeah. It'll so you can. I love it. You can bring up its map, and you can see Voyage 28. And this one left Kentucky, went through the Panama Canal, and then went basically up through like Anchorage, across, down through like kind of like Thailand, around Australia, and then came back. Cool. And then you can even see when it was crossing the ocean. Was it rough sea? Was it like chill sea?
That's very cool.
And so you can see the voyage it went on.
Super innovative.
Yeah. But that's not even it. That's not the end of it. When you go onto that website,
can I drink it before you finish the story?
Please, but you should be drinking the whole time.
Okay, continue.
But what's really cool about this, which I was like, I think is it's going to be interesting because it's going to make it more collectible for some people and less. But like each voyage is different, right? But the bourbon that starts that voyage is always a 6-year-old something. And so this one was a Kentucky straight bourbon, but they'll have like say a rye, or they'll have like a weeded bourbon, or like a super heavy rye bourbon. So the actual bourbon at 6 years that goes in that voyage, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 28 or up to 32, it's always going to be a different bourbon on a different voyage. And so it's just like, there's so many elements and variables, cool. Right?
So Jefferson's kind of across the portfolio has a lot of batch variation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if you love a voyage, you should buy it up.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And I always, Abalor is one of my whiskeys too. Mm-hmm. I love it. And I love the Abunas. And with those, or Abunad, depending on who you're talking to, but with those ones, like, there's like batch 72, 73. That one's a little more static. It's always the same kind of like whiskey. And if you, but same thing though, if you really like one, buy it up because the next one it's always going to be cut of the same cloth. It's the same idea, but it won't necessarily be.
There's subtle
exactly
differences, and sometimes those are a big deal for your particular palate. Yeah. One thing I got on the nose of this one, which is a kind of a funny tasting note, is those nibs. Like the Twizzler nibs, you know? I think they're strawberry. I think they're strawberry.
Are they cherry?
Or are they cherry?
I don't know.
Are they strawberry or cherry?
Strawberries.
Yeah, I think so.
I had some strawberry.
I got a little nib note.
Oh,
little nib note.
At risk of compromising my like self here, it tastes like really good whiskey.
That too.
Am I wrong?
I think you hit the notes perfect.
Yeah, good whiskey. Like,
it's not just melted down nibs. It's actually really good whiskey.
But it's just so. I mean, we always try to stay away from the word smooth, but this on the palate, like it's all of these in the series are highly crushable. Yeah. You know,
but it has the like it gives you a nice sizzle on the palate. Yep. You know it's there. Yeah. It's not hiding from you, right? Like it has the brown sugar notes, like a nice mellow sweetness to it, like just a really nice note of sweet on it. Like I don't know, this one to me is like
you're a fanboy.
Thank you for restating that. Yes, I am a fanboy.
Now, anybody that's watching this might be being like, okay, you guys started at like, if you watch the whole series, a $70 bourbon. You go up to like an $80, $90 bourbon. Now they're asking like $135, $140 $40 for this. Is that worth it?
Yeah.
And in some cases, with a lot of portfolios, I'm like, you know what? Honestly, the entry levels, and we've talked about this. Like, I think I've actually blinded on an entry level version. I mean, like, I think this one's actually as good or better.
It can happen for sure.
Which is a good thing in some cases, right?
It's a good thing. But you're tasting the difference each boss that you defeat here.
Exactly.
For sure.
This tastes like experience.
Well, I think like also if you're spending the money, at least you're getting something that is really good.
Yeah.
You know, like because there's been times where you spend a chunk of change and it's the prestige of spending the money that is the only
highlight
about it.
That was the highlight. Yeah.
Like we've all done it. You went out and bought a whiskey that was expensive, and you maybe even like convince yourself that you like it because you're so pissed off you spent that much money on it.
Exactly.
But like,
and then you struggle through it.
The term is buyer's remorse.
Yeah. Exactly. So you won't be remorsing this.
Remorseful.
That's the word.
I like remorsing.
Remorsing.
I think we should keep that going.
Never remorsing yourself. Okay. Thank you for bringing it by. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cheers, everybody. Thank you.